My Luxury List greets you back to our YouTube channel. Today, in this video, we will be discussing how Egypt is competing with several countries like China, the West, etc. to stand high. But before we tell you about it, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, My Luxury List, and also hit the bell icon so you don't miss out on any of our fun and exciting videos. China is entering the race with international opponents to participate in a blast of megaprojects and infrastructures. Progress currently initiated in Egypt as President Abdel Fatah el-Sisi attempts to modernize and transform the Middle East's smartest country. Egypt has always loved megaprojects, said the founder of international development company OXCON. Addressing the haste of projects, he added, "The government has sort of been building connections through signing certain economic deals with various countries over the last few years. There is no lack of projects to go around." A memorandum of understanding in January among German engineering company Siemens and the Egyptian government for constructing a $23 billion high-speed electronic train is one, and so is the development of the country's first nuclear power plant, currently advancing in the Mediterranean coastal city of El-Dabaa, led by the Russian state nuclear firm Rosatom. Even Egypt's archaeological wealth is caught up in the boom. The international Belgian development firm Besix is in a mutual partnership with an Egyptian company in raising the Grand Egyptian Museum in Giza, the greatest museum globally, when it opens later this year. Yet the most shining example of transformation in the country lies just 35 kilometers east of Cairo, where the state is swiftly constructing a megacity to house its 29 ministries, cabinet, and more than 5 million citizens. Though China is not the only one concerned with a new administrative capital, it is one of the most high-profile competitors. China is the new kid on the block. Lucille Greer, a scholar of China and the Middle East at the Wilson Center in Washington, D.C., told Al Jazeera about Beijing's interest in the Middle East. She said, "The relativistic balance of Egypt compared with other states in the region and recent attempts by the government to secure the country with more attractiveness to foreign investment had enticed China. The Chinese State Construction and Engineering Company, CSCEC, is at muscle raising the central business district of Egypt's new administrative capital. Chinese banks are funding roughly 85% of the $3 billion projects, which comprises 20 towers, one of which, when built at 385 meters tall, will be the tallest building in Africa. Egypt is the hub of China's Middle Eastern policy, particularly in politics and economy." Degang Sun, a professor of international studies at Fudan University in Shanghai, told Al Jazeera in a statement, "The size of Egypt's market is certainly charming to China. Meanwhile, the relative permanence and welcoming investment climate for international partners make Egypt an essential investment destination for China." Chuchu Zhang, deputy director of the Center for Middle Eastern Studies at Fudan University, said in an email exchange, "At the political level, Chinese and Egyptian connections go back a long way. Under a nationalistic leader, Gamal Abdel Nasser, Egypt was the first Middle Eastern and African country to acknowledge the People's Republic of China in 1956. Former President Hosni Mubarak was one of the first foreign leaders to tour Beijing after the 1989 Tiananmen Square massacre. Those famous relations have been sustained under current President el-Sisi. He has made 6 trips to Beijing since converting president in 2014 after a revolution that overthrew the country's primary democratically elected president, Mohamed Morsi. The Egypt-China relationship has developed rapidly in a short period. El-Dashan said, "It's not so much the bulk of business, but the growth. Egypt is the most comprehensive beneficiary of foreign direct investment in Africa, while nations such as the United Kingdom, the United States, and the United Arab Emirates far outstrip China as the largest investor. Beijing is boarding up." Chinese ambassador to Egypt, Lao Liqiang, said in an interview with state media that Beijing's investments in the North African country hit nearly $7 billion in 2019, with 90% overhead over 5 years. Both governments have been excited to pump up this union of business interests. On a visit to Egypt last year, Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi stated, "China's drive for the Belt and Road and Egypt 2030 vision have mutual economic targets. That merging is on full presentation at the Suez Canal. Industry leaders in Egypt say the Channel Zone is one of the country's most active investment purposes today. For China, the canal is a significant linchpin in the transportation of goods to its most significant market, Europe. Egypt is an important country along the Belt and Road as it has vital geographic positions. Also, as Egypt is settled at the intersection of three civilizations, the Arab, Mediterranean, and African civilization, Zhang stated. It's no wonder the Chinese state-owned conglomerate, TEDA, is the largest investor in the Suez Canal industrial region near the city of Ain Sokhna. The company manages an industrial park with 85 companies and more than 4,000 employees. Jushi, a Chinese fiberglass manufacturing business, is one of the biggest holders. Its attendance at the canal has made Egypt the third most populous manufacturer of fiberglass in the world. Sun called it a model of win-win development for Cairo and Beijing. China is keen to stress its business relations with Egypt are all about even partnership. Egyptians feel more satisfied forward with China and regard China as an equal and trustworthy brother. This is because China administers the Egyptian counterparts equally, Sun noted. El Dashan considers the relationship is somewhat different. Beijing is in the driver's seat. Egypt's growing population of more than 100 million surely makes it a heavy market for China in the Middle East, but some say Cairo could leverage its position better in this new bonding. If Egypt holds off its position vis-a-vis Beijing as a regional leader, it could have a significantly more dominant position with the Chinese, El Dashan said. I don't think anyone is totally clear on the parameters of the relationship now. Jushi might serve as a model for future commercial partnerships. Approximately all of the fiberglass offered and produced at the plant are exported to Europe. Egypt has a duty-free deal with the EU on industrial products and is a member of the Common Market for Eastern and Southern Africa. It also relates to the African Continental Free Trade Area, which is currently finalizing a trade agreement. In order to leverage these contracts and serve as a Chinese manufacturing hub, Egypt would hopefully need to produce more element parts within the country and hold China to account for technology transfer commitments. That being said, the production component to Chinese-Egyptian economic relations is still small and more Chinese FDI goes into infrastructure than manufacturing. Still, European governments have taken notice. In 2020, they imposed sanctions on Jushi and its Egyptian partners for taking advantage of what they reflected to be unfair subsidies that allotted for product dumping, articulating about the Western understanding of Chinese commercial activity in nations such as Egypt. El Dashan stated, a lot of organized partners aren't happy to see someone else struggling with them in countries they consider to be their traditional homes. China's presence proceeds to develop, and it is branching out from the Mediterranean to the shores of Europe. Skyscrapers is creating 5 residential skyscrapers in the new Alamein City luxury megaproject. Hutchinson's Chinese port company has also won contracts to manage Alexandria and El Dekia ports and recently signed a new agreement to build a container handling terminal near Alexandria. One area where there is little dispute between Beijing and Cairo is weighing into each other's domestic politics. China's approach in dealing with Egyptian affairs has its uniqueness due to its non-interference policy. Wang told Al Jazeera, a key issue not being discussed in the Chinese-Egyptian relationship is the persecution of Uyghurs, the Turkic ethnic group, and the Muslim community in China's northwest Xinjiang province. Since 2017, Egypt has deported Uyghur students back to China at Beijing's request. Both the previous Donald Trump administration and Joe Biden's government have called China's persecution of the Uyghurs genocide. Well, this is all about the partnership and competitions among Egypt and other countries. I hope you enjoyed watching it, and if you did, make sure you show us your support by giving it a big thumbs up and sharing it with your friends. Also, subscribe to our channel to be a part of our team and never miss out on any good stuff. Stay tuned until we come up with another spectacular video for you.